Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dream Drop Long Distance, a podcast about two friends retreading their paths through familiar worlds on a quest to unlock the true memories of Kingdom Hearts. How are you doing today, Mitchell?
Hey, buddy. I'm doing good. Just, enjoying the second Kingdom Hearts game that I feel like a little bit slower than the first one kind of running through.
Yeah. I mean, at the same time, though, we're making good progress through the game at this rate. Like, if you think about it, we tackled the first Kingdom Hearts game in 12 episodes, and we're on episode 2, and we're a good number of worlds in. Yeah,
I mean, granted, I think we both talked about this before, where other than the map being like multiple rooms, it is kind of a watered down version of what some of these other worlds were.
Yeah, the storylines and everything are just kind of wacky, and that's really what we're going to be touching on today, because I feel like the effort that went into the writing for each of the worlds went even further downward this this half, as it were, than it did the previous.
Yeah.
So
I feel like first two worlds we're going to talk about, I think they felt a little more throwaway. The second two, maybe not quite as much, but we'll get into it.
Yeah, absolutely. So last we left off, we finished off the world of Agrabah, and we did not proceed any further, deciding to call it right there. Heading up into the staircase of Castle Oblivion, we are greeted by Larxene, a member of Organization 13.
That was Okay, what did you think of this fight?
She was not my favorite, but she was also not one of the hardest ones that we'll fight in this episode. Let's put it that way.
No, she wasn't. Well, she was challenging, I found. She was, she brought a lot, and some of her abilities, I feel like it's just the first fight where it really challenges you to, you have to counter. Like, you cannot just keep trying to wail on her and expect her not to punish you for it.
Absolutely. Yeah, you need to be ready to break any slights that they try to do. Yeah, it's a nonstop fight with all the organization members. I find that the world bosses aren't that hard by comparison. They end up being more fun because they take different avenues to being a challenge. I'm really excited to talk about one of the last bosses that we'll talk about today in one of the worlds, but Larxene and the other organization members, they really challenge you to know the game.
I 100% agree. The world bosses have a bit more of the gimmick, cartoony Disney love to them, which it still is a little bit of a challenge, but yeah, I'm like you. I didn't really have much issue with them, but the organization members, they kick you in the teeth. It's like, hey, we know you just beat that little world boss, and that's cute. You might want to re-up your deck. And they do not pull punches.
Yeah, I don't think there was a single boss in Castle Oblivion that I didn't need to go back and level up for in order to beat.
Same way. Exact same way. And then, this game, they don't even make it to where, because the level up system isn't quite what, a normal kind of fighting game is. It's, you can add to your card points or your health points or possibly a new slight, but it's not like you just get stronger. Even you can add some health or some card points, but if you don't upgrade your deck to accommodate what you need for the fight, you're still not beating them.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been having to remove so many different cards from my deck and replace them with similar ones, high levels of, I can't even think of Olympia and stuff like that, just to try and, it's been, because which Keyblade card you use affects how much damage you deal. And there's other attributes that I haven't even figured out yet. It'll say on the Keyblade what type of damage it deals, but I've only run into one Keyblade that deals a different type of damage, and it's just weird. There are so many things happening in this system that I don't think we'll ever fully understand before it's time to move on from this game and bury it where it belongs.
I know. And I just started to piece together some of the options for the Keyblades. One of the ones I noticed specifically was the recovery feature.
Yeah, what does that do? I don't know what that does.
Oh, man. So particular Keyblades have a rating usually from as of right now, I've found from D to A. But there are a couple of them, I don't remember, I think maybe Fairy Harp and another one have, in their description, it says, like, this doesn't do as much damage, but it has a very quick recovery. It's basically certain Keyblades, when, say, somebody counters your attack, the Keyblades that have a higher or a better recovery stat, that dictates how quickly you can whip out another attack. Basically, so like, if I use Olympia, they break my card, you won't recover as quickly as, say, if I used, I think maybe a Fairy Harp, for instance, which has I think a B rank recovery. And if they break that one, you actually do adjust quicker to attack again.
God, that makes so much sense. Oh, man, my deck is stacked with Olympias right now. That makes so much sense why I'm having trouble with these bosses like Clarksine. I'm stacked. My deck is stacked as though I was playing with your playstyle. I'm like fully strengthed out. I have one bit of magic right at the top of my deck to like blast the first wave of Heartless. But otherwise, it's just all Keyblades and potions and like 2 cures. So, oh my God, that makes so much sense.
It's funny because I started out with that play style where I had a lot of stronger attack cards, a couple of healing cards, 3 Faragas, and 2 Simbas for an AoE to kind of like clear some room. Started realizing very quickly that does nothing to the bosses. And so now what I tend to run is I do 3 high-level Olympias to begin with, and I'll stack those as a slight to use for Strike Raid, and I'll save it because I found out Strike Raid stuns. And then I have 4 strong of Divine Rose and 4 strong of 3 Wishes. And then behind that, I have 3 zeros for counters, and then I think a couple of magic items, a couple heals, a couple ethers, stuff like that. And I found that's been working really well. I don't have any summons. Summons I just find are absolutely useless against bosses.
Cloud's good.
Cloud's good. Decent. Cloud is decent. But it's like, unless you stack them, especially with one of the bosses we talk about later, unless you stack those with just completely 9s, they will break that slight in a heartbeat.
Yeah, some of the later bosses even use zeros. It's like, oh, come on. If you can do that too, it's just a whole thing.
I know. But to give people an idea, this is how our play style has been going right now. I don't know about you, but I think we should probably jump in just a little bit into the worlds. Otherwise, I feel like we could talk about the mechanics of this for hours.
Oh, yeah, we could. Oh my God, we could complain about the mechanics for hours. Yeah. So, yeah, you let's just say we finish off Larksine, right? I don't remember her fight very well. It didn't stand out to me. I just remember it being difficult.
It was a lot of, dagger throwing. She is fast. She's not like super sturdy. So you actually can take her out pretty quickly. But God help you if you do not break her combos. Because once she gets a combo going, it's like you basically are just done. So the entire fight with her, I was just basically, I would attack, and then prep a break. Because I knew she was either about to throw a slight at me, or she was about to start some kind of insanity that I was like, if I do not break this hit, I'm done. I'm just done. So once I figured that out, it was pretty easy.
Yeah. So, yeah, Larksine goes down one way or another, and she starts confronting Sora about true memories lost within the heart. And you can tell she's toying with him, but that's also just her default way of speaking. I don't think she talks to anyone without toying with him. So, but at the end of the fight, Larksine gives Sora a charm that is suspiciously like the Oathkeeper charm that he got from Kairi, and it works on him.
It does. And it does.
I cannot believe how easily that worked on him.
They've done a very good job of just getting him to believe anything.
Yeah, I mean, part of he wants to think that that's just Castle Oblivion doing its job, which I guess that's a thing. But man, he just instantly believes that this came from that girl.
Good old nominee. Oh no, I mean, this thing has apparently been screwing with everybody. It's wiping journal entries, so it's probably got some power over him, like some otherworldly power. But then right after that, we're actually introduced to a new member of the organization.
Yes, Vexen. He seems like a scientist of some kind who focuses on doing experiments of some kind or another.
They're very vague about what kind of scientist. They're just like, he's a scientist in it with his experiments, but they give you like no indication on what any of it is.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. To be honest, I think there is a place that we can get answers on this, but we're a ways away from playing that game. Go figure. Okay. They love leaving these little threads dangling.
Of course.
The only experiment that they really let us in on at this stage is some kind of mention of a valet, as Axel puts it. Thankfully, we don't have to wait too long to learn what that is, but it's kind of an interesting term to use. Like, I'm not sure what valet would mean outside of the context of driving, and it's not like anybody's really driving.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird description to use for who we find out pretty soon who it is. Basically, after that discussion, what's the first world first new world in the set that we go to, Kyle?
Well, of course, out of these options, we're going to go to your favorite world first. Which means it's time for the 100 Acre Wood.
Yes, sir. The 100 Acre Wood, the home of Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, Roo, Piglet, and all the other, little woodland creatures. Ah, man. Still one of my favorite levels, though I did feel like this one got very condensed. Now, I will say, and you tell me, just like the last time, I kept all of my scores for the minigames.
Absolutely.
Excellent. But I felt like the maps were much smaller and there was less to do, but I felt like the mini games were better.
Yes, I will absolutely agree with you there. The mini games were better. I almost wonder if it was one of those things like they made the mini game for the Game Boy within what the Game Boy could do, and then they just had to make it work on the PlayStation. Like, oh, wow, they did all of that. Well, okay, here you go. And just made it on the PlayStation. I mean, the studio that made this game is really good at making fun little things like that. So it wouldn't surprise me if that's kind of what happened.
Now that you say it, yeah, that actually makes a whole lot of sense. You get there and at first thing, Sora sees Pooh and is like, hey, what's going on? He's like, oh, I lost all my friends.
He says he's looking for nobody.
Yeah, he's looking for nobody, which, okay. And then they wind up just going around and looking for his friends again, very much like the first game. And you don't stumble across all of them this time around, but you stumble across like the vast majority. Then there were, I believe, let me see, there were there were 5 mini games.
Yep. I do want to note before we get too much farther that I noticed and appreciate that the game designers took the time to change all of the fonts in this world too. Like the Moogle points that pop up on screen, the font was changed to match Winnie the Pooh too. It's such a small detail, but I enjoyed it all the same.
I never noticed that. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna have to go back and look. I mean, I feel like they do a really good job, like the little things like that, making the worlds, because they knew the worlds were small. I can tell they tried to add some like design to it to make them feel a little more original to each other.
Yeah. So anyway, jumping into the minigames, the first one, and the one that really stood out in my mind as the most memorable, is a game of sorting vegetables using your Keyblade.
Yeah.
While also teaching Winnie the Pooh not to play in the street.
Oh my god, Pooh. Dude. Yeah, so that is, it's like Frogger with Winnie the Pooh. But yes, it was a game of basically you either press square or circle to hit either a pumpkin or a head of cabbage to either side, and occasionally a giant pumpkin would come rolling down the hill, and you'd have to hit it with a couple of strike raids to knock it away. And over time, they come down the hill faster and faster and faster and faster. And in between there, Pooh will run into the street and chase a butterfly, and you have to try to not hit him.
Yep.
It's like, Pooh.
Yeah, that was so frustrating because you have to use Strike Raid to protect him from getting hit. Although it is really funny to watch him come tumbling back down on a pumpkin or something. It's pretty funny looking.
It is. He just comes like rolling square down it. But so I'll ask, what was your? Because we only needed to get, I think it was 30, and I actually did pretty good.
Yeah, I got an 83. How'd you do?
Oh, dude, I got 200.
What the Jesus? Holy! Whoa!
Val. Yeah. No, Val was dying laughing at me, being like, I have to hit 100. And then when I hit 100, I was like, I have to hit 200. And then she just watched me sort vegetables for about a good 20 minutes.
Oh, man. I just wanted to get a perfect score through that 30. Then I'm like, oh, dang, this is hard. Oh, well, I just kept getting like retrying until I got a perfect score in 30. Then I'm like, all right, well, let's see how much farther I can go. And I got to 83 and I'm like, that'll be fine. Silly me for assuming.
No, I had a perfect score up to about I think it was like 130. And then I was just like, okay, I can't stop. And yeah, I hit 200 on the dot, and then Pooh jumped on the road and screwed me over. And a cabbage got by, and I was just in pain because I wanted to keep going.
Oh my God. Okay. Pretty quickly after that, the plot devolves. My note here is there is absolutely no plot to 100 Acre Wood.
There is not. There is no plot to this at all.
None whatsoever. Like, I don't even remember why the next game happens, but the next game...
It was just that Pooh was hungry. Pooh was just looking for honey.
There you go. Yeah, so Pooh is literally just hungry, and he wants to eat all of the honey, so you just grab a balloon and take flight. I don't know. Do you need a reason? Not really. You get 3 balloons, you have to avoid bees, and you have to capture all of the honey and get to the top of the tree.
Just to give an idea, so basically... It's like you kind of like fly, rotate around the tree. You barely touch a tree branch, it pops the balloon. The bees eventually start flying and like crisscross like fucking serpentine patterns, and you're having to try to figure out how to dodge them. All while the honey is actually these little coins, these little gold coins that are floating, and each one is worth a point. I think there's some bigger ones that are worth like 10.
Don't you buy honey coins at the store? Hello.
All
this is a common thing, Mitchell. It's my favorite cereal, honey coins. How'd you know?
It's going to be the Bitcoin successor, honey coins.
Oh, no. Let's file the trademark before the episode goes live.
I know. Okay, so what was your score when you finally finished?
I got a perfect 500 on this game.
Get the hell out of here. I got 487.
First try, too. I didn't even have to restart or anything.
Oh.
I just, like, wow. Patience of a Zen master.
Yeah, you, sir, should be teaching like Jeet Kune Do or something. I don't know. But yes, no, that was like my 3rd try. I got to that, and I was just like, all right, that's good enough. I don't need to keep playing this.
Okay, I'm feeling a little more confident now. After you blew my score out of the water, I was like, oh God, I'm gonna completely lose. This is my one tie because this is the one that I got a perfect score on.
Well, I had to make up because on Kingdom Hearts 1, I didn't compete. I did not compete.
It was close. It was close. I re-listened to that not too long ago. It was really close. I think I was up by maybe 1.
Okay. So. Okay. Well, the next one was, you meet up with Tigger in the woods, and he's just like, bet you can't bounce as good as I can, which it's not as much like how good at bouncing are you. It's just like how well can you remember in order where basically there's 4 stumps that he jumps between. It's just like a matching the pattern game, but eventually it gets to like, you're having to remember quite a lot of them.
Yeah, it's Simple Simon Says or whatever, the Simon game.
Yeah.
How did you do? How did you do on this one? Because I thought that I was doing good in the moment, but like looking at my score, I'm like, dang, is that really actually any good?
I thought the exact same thing. I got 37.
Oh, shoot. Okay. I got a 60.
Oh, my God. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Whew. I'm feeling more secure in my win here. 2-1, 2-1. There's still 2 more rounds. You could turn this.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because I did trash in the last one. I know I did trash in the final one.
I didn't do great, but I think I did okay. Okay, next one.
Yeah, this one was a lot of fun. I enjoyed this one. Like, I'd almost just go back and play this one again for fun. It was, I don't know how Winnie the Pooh ended up hurtling down to the ground from a very, very high height. I don't know who pushed Winnie the Pooh out of an airplane, but somebody pushed Winnie the Pooh out of an airplane. and you have to collect honey coins, trademark Dream Drop Long Distance 2022, and avoid debris.
That is what we're doing. You're apparently a couple of Halo ODSTs, and it's not only are you trying to grab coins on the way down, but you're dodging like entire tree trunks. And why there are that many trees falling in the sky, I have no idea.
Yeah, it's like somebody, before pushing Winnie the Pooh out of the plane, they also pushed the contents of an entire Home Depot out of a plane, then pushed you down.
It's so silly. Okay, what was your score?
2,142.
God. 1601.
Oh, it feels good. It feels good.
Shut up.
It feels good to win.
Shut up.
The victory.
You shut your mouth. Anyway.
Sorry. I can't help it. I was so nervous the whole time.
I was feeling good on that first round, but now, okay. Last one.
The last one was bad, and I don't like it very much. You have to fight back bees, I think. And
yeah, it's supposed to be bees. It's annoying.
I had 2 minutes and 10 seconds.
Oh, wow.
I think lower is better.
Lower is better. And you actually beat me. I had 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
Ah, man. Okay. But that game was just like not even fun. I don't even want to count that one. Unless you won, then I'd be like, oh, take it. It's yours. You did great.
Yeah, that one was weird. So basically, for the people listening at home, Pooh decides to go and try to steal the honey out of a tree. And while Eeyore, and you're talking to Eeyore trying to find his tail. And all of a sudden, you start getting attacked by these swarms of bees. Well, it wouldn't be as bad if, the bees couldn't counter your cards. And also, you're basically you just kind of keep whacking them until they die. But they're not trying to attack you at all. They're only trying to attack Pooh. So you're having to basically kind of crowd control long enough to get rid of them all. Yeah, it was really tricky. I played it probably twice because when they start attacking him, his health drops quick and there's no way to heal him.
Yeah, I think I failed this one actually at least once.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. No, you can heal him. Basically it'll do this thing where it throws a honey pot on his head and he gets some health back. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I knew there was a honey pot on his head involved somewhere. That makes sense.
But what also sucked is while he's healing, you can't keep attacking. You basically can only attack when he's not healing. But while you're attacking, 9 times out of 10, he's being hurt. So it was kind of like, I wish they would have allowed, while he's getting a little bit of a health boost, you could still be attacking bees. But it's what it was.
It's just like you can't attack while you have a summon out and junk like that.
Exactly. Pretty similar.
So I didn't like this, but I understood it for what it was trying to do, which is reincorporate the main game into a minigame.
Yes.
Which is fine. It also made me use the arrow spell, which I have not used in any other context and pretty much still refuse to use.
It's one of those ones that's just not really that useful. Now, it's great for some abilities, like for some combo abilities, but I just don't think it's worth throwing it into my deck. But overall, though, I mean, we finished that fight, and you go to leave, and Pooh's kind of like, oh, well, you're leaving? He's like, yeah, man, I gotta go. And he's just like, well, all right, well, thanks for helping. Definitely, it wasn't, as emotional of a send-off as the first one was.
Really? I was so sure. I have this in my notes. I have a quote, even if you forget Winnie the Pooh, I won't forget you. I was like, I could picture the tears coming down Mitch's face. I could picture it.
It was cute. It was cute, but I was just like, it's not the same as all of his friends on top of a hill telling him they'll never forget him. And then they just see a star fly by and they're all huddled together. I don't know. That one just felt, there was something special about it.
Fair enough. So yeah. I'll say out of the worlds that we've played, I still like this one a lot. The story, but the minigames were a lot of fun, and I would certainly be open to having more minigames in the Kingdom Hearts games that we play. Thankfully, I know that there will be, but we'll get there.
I completely agree. And this level has been a good reprieve in both games.
Absolutely. It very well timed each time, too.
I completely agree.
So as soon as you step out of that serene hill of Hundred Acre Wood, you walk back out into the sterile views of Castle Oblivion to run into Riku, of all people, who must be the valet that Vexen was referring to, I think. And he's here talking about, no? You don't think so?
No, I do.
Talking about the valet.
No, I think you're completely right. There's a weird dialogue where you can tell that Riku's been manipulated a bit because he starts really going in on Sora. I remember there was a line that I put down where he starts getting a little angsty and it's like, you don't remember working your way into my heart? Which, bromance. Immediate bromance.
Absolutely.
But it also was like, now for some reason he's treating Sora like him trying to get close to him is a bad thing.
Yeah, I have similar. It's please, Sora, since when have you ever cared about me? One great line, great delivery, stands in bold contrast to the stupid line of Naminé doesn't even want to look at your face.
I know. That was so dumb.
But yeah, just like you're saying, like Riku's really getting in Sora's face about the way that Sora just keeps trying to come back and keeps worming his way back into Riku's life and Riku's heart, which is such a strong contrast from where we saw Riku last, behind the other side of the door to darkness.
Agreed. Also, now Riku is starting to talk about Naminé in the way that you should be replacing her name with Kairi.
Yeah, it really is a one-to-one replacement.
Like, both of these guys are starting to remember, in quotations, they're starting to remember all these things, and like, you didn't care about Naminé, like, she's been waiting, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, ooh, what's going on here?
Yeah, it makes you immediately more suspicious of Naminé. Yeah, so almost immediately, like that, there's a fight right after this. They fight about the fact that Riku doesn't want Sora to keep worming his way back into his heart. And this was a little hard, but it wasn't too bad. I think this is the only time I didn't need to go back and level up first, which is helpful because you can't exactly go level up in 100 Acre Wood. But anyway, it was a challenge, but I didn't need too many retries on it.
No, the first of at least, this Riku fight wasn't very bad. Took a second to like get the rhythm of it, but after that it was easy.
Cake. Yeah. Immediately after that, it's weird to me because once again, I have it in my notes. Jiminy is a major character in this game and it's weird.
Yeah.
Am I the only one noticing that? Like, Jiminy Cricket was not really a character in the last game. This wasn't a quartet. This is a trio. So, I don't know. It's weird that Jiminy's a major character all of a sudden. I guess that kind of stays true later on, but it's weird today.
I actually think it was a very smart move because Jiminy was always like supposed to be the behind the scenes, the keeper of the story, the keeper of the tomes, the keeper of the journal of like this adventure. And to have him, not only everybody else losing their memory, but just to see that like even his memories are being lost and everything he's written down starting to disappear. I feel like it adds just a bit more bite to that idea that like this castle is taking things and making people, remember the true memories. It kind of spooks you out a little bit to be like, is it really giving these guys real memories, or is this just screwing with everybody to like completely wiping everything we know up to this point and replacing it with something else?
Yeah, that's true. I remember thinking when I first played this, because I was a child and not necessarily capable of critical thought.
Of course.
It's exaggerating, but you get the idea. I genuinely believed for a little bit that Naminé was actually on the Destiny Islands. Like, I believed that because I just hadn't put all the thought into it. I was, 12 or something?
Yeah.
It's so interesting being able to look at it again with adult critically thinking eyes and be like, wow, they are messing with these people's heads and gaslighting them so hard, and it's working because of the magical effect of Castle Oblivion.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Yeah, all that happens, but I do agree. I don't think it was as weird. I think it was actually a very good call to make Jiminy a bit more of like a member of the team.
Yeah, it makes sense when you put it in that context. That makes a lot of sense. So fast forwarding a little bit, there's another world that happens between these, but the worlds are so blasé that we can skip over it. Getting on the other side of Atlantica, you get to fight Riku for a second time. You get to run into him and then fight him a second time.
You do. And just if anybody really cares that much, Ariel steals the trident. We can't figure out why. Ursula steals it from her. You beat up Ursula. You save Atlantica. Moving on.
Yeah, I don't have a single note about Atlantica, so.
There really is. It was complete filler. It was just something to help you level up for this fight.
Absolutely. And boy, do you need it, because this fight does not hold anything back.
Man, they tease you with that first Riku fight. I tell you what, because this second one is not easy.
Yeah, and it really shows in Riku's story commitment, too, because he's like, he's not going home. He's doing this. Sora is not supposed to be here because he is supposed to take care of Kairi.
Yeah, he verbatim tells him, like, you should not be here. I went through all of this. I set this up, and I told you to take care of Kairi, and I would handle it. And you didn't do that. And so you can very quickly tell that Riku is pissed.
Rightfully so, if you in some regard, but then almost immediately he starts going into talking about protecting Naminé like he's completely lost his mind. It's bizarre that there's the left hand and the right hand here. The left side where he's making a whole lot of sense, like Sora is supposed to be taking care of Kairi. Sora isn't supposed to be pursuing Riku right now. But then Naminé. It's like, no. But it makes for an incredible fight between the two of them. So, thankfully, in the lead up to this particular fight happening, we do unlock a lot of new things ahead of time. Like, I don't know if you stopped into a couple Moogle shops before, or in the world before in Atlantica, but there's new styles of card packs. Like, you'll notice the binding is different on them, and they cost more.
They've got a belt on them.
Which ends up giving you better cards.
Yeah, they're a little more expensive. Not much. I think like around 100 more, whatever. But I say they do give you exceptionally better value.
Yeah, it's 100% worth it. So I've been trying to stack up my deck with that. So between Moogle runs and chests and just leveling up, just raw level ups, it took a lot to get ready for this fight because I definitely failed it more than once. I don't want to talk about how long this fight took me, but
I'm same way. I mean, I'll tell you right now, I think it took me about 9 tries to beat him.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was something ridiculous like that. Like, I lost count. It was just, man, this is taking so long. I'm going to go level up some more. Oh my God, he's still beating me. It was aggravating.
Yeah, but when you finally do beat him, it is rewarding. Like, you do feel like a champ.
Yeah, this time, unlike last time, this time Riku really does seem like he's beat. Like, it seems like Sora's affected him this time.
Yes. But he does wind up disappearing and take it off.
Yeah, I don't remember how he made his exit.
He winds up just running up the stairs.
Oh, yeah, and you go to run and chase after him, and there's nobody there. Once again. But right after that, it cuts over to a cutscene between Axel and Naminé.
Uh-huh.
And in it, Axel is talking about whether it hurts her to see her childhood friends, Sora and Riku, fighting each other like that.
Which it's like, okay, was she ever really friends with them? Because it seems like, is she playing with the organization's memories too now? That was the first thing I thought about, was like, wait, why does he think that they were childhood friends?
Or is he just complicit in the memory altering and he's just using that to play with her, like, haha, your childhood friends, wink?
Yeah, I couldn't tell. He didn't really give it all. He didn't give off one way or the other. So curious to see where that goes.
Yeah. One line that I found really important here, though, I think you had noted this one to me too, was Axel says to her, "We nobodies can never hope to be somebodies."
He does. This is the first time that we are introduced to the term nobodies.
Yes, because with captions on, you see that Nobody's has a capital N on it. So this is definitely a proper noun in the Kingdom Hearts world.
It is. And so you're like, wait, what's a nobody? And we don't learn about it quite yet, but that is a huge giveaway that just happened.
Yeah, for anybody who perhaps played the games out of order, cough, cough, Mitchell. Anybody who played the games out of order, anybody who's played Kingdom Hearts 2 before they played Chain of Memories, will be getting some bells ringing at the word nobodies. But for right now, we're not really sure. The one thing that I think is interesting here is the use of the word we. Who do you think that he's referring to when he says we? Like we nobodies.
I mean, I'm assuming it's other people in the organization. Because if he's including himself in the we, then it must be like the people he associates himself with. That's just what I'm guessing. And based on, obviously I did play Kingdom Hearts 2 before this one. So I do have an idea what the nobodies are, but I'm not going to delve too deep into it.
Right. So do you think when he says we, do you think he's referring to Naminé as well? Because I can't tell.
I don't 100% know. I mean, it really is like you need the context of like who or what a nobody is to really figure out like. That's true. And also we just don't know enough about Naminé right now to really have an idea.
Yeah, that's why I'm just trying to like grasp on any clues I can, but that's all right.
Yeah,
that's all right
for sure. But so yeah, then that's a huge cutscene that then leads us into the next world that we went to, which is Hollow Bastion.
Yeah, I did not care for this world. I mean, it was cool in design, but that's all I can really say for it. What did you think?
It was, I don't know. I felt like they tried to stick to the same kind of art style and design they did with the first game, like the lifts and the, all the Heartless and like the defenders were there, the wyverns are there, the wizards are there, which I'm like, oh, cool. Some of the stronger Heartless that you can level up on, which was great. But yeah, the maps were just not that interesting overall on this one. And there really wasn't a whole lot that happens storyline-wise, other than I thought Maleficent in this level, I felt like she was almost more straightforward evil in this game than she was in the other one.
Yes, I'll give you that. But at the same time, the storyline to this makes no sense at all. Because if you remember, Maleficent wanted to take Belle's heart.
Yes.
So if that's what she wanted to do all along, why did she wait?
I don't. I mean, I know so to give you guys an idea, you get to Hollow Bastion. Beast is talking to Belle. She's like, you need to leave. He's like, why are you telling me to leave? Like, let's go together. She's like, I can't leave. Get the hell out of here. Otherwise, the witch will kill you, blah, blah, blah. So she goes back to the castle. Beast's like, I'm not giving up, but I got to figure out what's going on. And then you find out that Belle, from what I understand, is sticking around because if she doesn't, then Maleficent might kill Beast or take Beast's heart or something. It was very hard to really understand. What I got was that like Maleficent was only looking for the purest hearts, and she figured out that if she put Belle in enough distress, she could steal Beast if he loved her enough, and if Belle saw Beast was in danger, her heart would be at its purest and she could steal hers. It was kind of convoluted, and I didn't really think it was useful information at all.
Yeah, not in the slightest. It's starting to make sense as you're recapping it, but I don't know, man.
It was a drag. Not a bad drag. But just like it took way too long. I mean, you do get to do like the Maleficent dragon fight again, which was fun. Was not difficult. I thought it was way easier in this game than it was in the previous game.
Part of that's because they gave a gimmick, which was if you pulled the green Mickey card, if you pick it up and use it, it gives you a floating platform, which I thought was really cool because you got to just ride that platform around and smack the hell out of Maleficent's head.
I never got a Mickey card.
Really? Oh man, that was like one of my favorite parts of that fight. It made it fun and interesting in a novel way.
Damn. Okay. Yeah, I beat it without any Mickey cards. I never got one.
Dang. Okay. Man, I thought that's what you were talking about when you said gimmicks earlier.
No. That's funny. I mean, I think I had the Mickey, I had the Mickey cards for the Jafar and the Ursula fight, but not this one.
I think there was one in Oogie Boogie Fight 2.
There was. That one was fun.
Yeah. So I'm sad you didn't get it because it made a whole lot more sense on the PlayStation than I kind of remember it making on the Game Boy. So
interesting. Okay. Well, I say I'll have to go back. I'm not going to go back to that.
No, I don't even know if you can replay boss fights in this game. So what's the point?
Yeah, I don't think you can.
After that, you save, you go out, and you get the funny Disney-esque scene of Donald and Goofy suspiciously looking left and right to see if there's somebody on the floor, but there's no one. All's quiet.
And then the cutscene happens, and you're back with Larxene and Axel and Vexen. And so these three are talking, and then you're introduced to a deceptively attractive, like, this game does such a weird thing where it's like, how evil people are based on like, oh, they made them hot for no reason. And you're introduced to a long pink-haired member of the organization named Marluxia.
I just gotta set the record straight. There is no deception going on here. Marluxia is hot, and that's the end of the story right there. Okay.
The note I have down is a pretty boy with a scythe shows up. And damn, does he makes an entrance.
Yeah, he starts setting the record straight and everything too. It's a weird dichotomy that starts happening. It's a weird conflict between Marluxia, who is said to be in charge of the castle. Apparently the leader of the organization or something along those lines put him in charge of Castle Oblivion. But there's a chain of command issue or something like that, because Vexen is apparently number 4, where Marluxia is number 11, which for one tells us that this organization cares about numbers.
They do. Apparently there's a hierarchy.
Yeah, there's a hierarchy. There we go. And that lower numbers are better.
Better, stronger, or more? We haven't figured out, like...
higher up in the ranks.
Yes. Because we noticed very quickly that Vexen starts to get in Marluxia's face, and Marluxia, we don't see it at first, but he raises up and points something at Vexen, and Vexen pretty quickly turns tail and stops talking. And we notice that Marluxia has the blunt edge of a scythe pinned, like, stuck to his chest. And that's when you're like, ooh, this guy, my guess, I don't know if these numbers in the hierarchy necessarily dictate strength. But I always have a feeling Marluxia could probably kick Vexen's ass if he wanted to.
Yeah, I think that's even going to be proven out pretty soon here. But what I meant was rank. Definitely rank. Like, Vexen, by being number 4, is a higher rank than Marluxia. Though Marluxia is in charge of the castle, and it's just a weird thing going on between the two of them.
Yeah, you can tell there's a tension there, for sure. And then, Marluxia winds up not saying he doesn't trust him, but basically being like, you need to like prove what you've been saying. And Vexen takes off to go, handle like part of his experiment, which we know means he's probably going after Sora.
Yeah, that's what I have. It's that Vexen's going after Sora to eliminate him and eliminate suspicion of being a traitor.
Yes, which I think, if I remember correctly, Axel wasn't too keen on, because he's like, if he gets rid of Sora, that's going to cause problems for everything else.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird factions in play here, because there clearly is a group that's trying to betray the organization, as revealed in that one cutscene with Axel and Larxene. Larxene is clearly part of that movement to betray the organization.
Mm-hmm.
Seemingly Vexen is too, and that's why he's going through this motion to try and regain trust. But I'm not sure. It seems like there's almost 3 different factions working here, and I can't identify what the third one is.
I can't either. There's something going on. It will reveal itself sooner or later, but as of right now, we're kind of in the weeds.
Yeah, kind of looking at it from an even higher level, I almost wonder if maybe Marluxia sent Vexen against Sora in anticipation of him losing, so that's a traitor eliminated.
Ooh.
That's my suspicion right now, anyway.
Ooh. I kind of like that. That's a good theory. Let's see if that plays out.
Yeah. So, taking things a little out of order from how we did them in the original Kingdom Hearts, after this little scene plays out, and after Hollow Bastion, we sort of backtrack-ish to Neverland.
Sort of, yeah, kind of. This one was another one where it was, you wind up on the ship, and Tinkerbell finds you, and you're wandering the ship. Peter Pan is like, oh, you guys pirates? And we're like, no, we're not pirates. He's like, whoa, okay, well, I'm going to go find Wendy. And we're like, okay, I guess we'll help you. And it's kind of silly. Long story short, Wendy says she wants to go back to London. Peter gets upset about it. We fight Hook. Peter accepts that she wants to go back to London. He takes her to London. We get Tinkerbell as a summon. Moving on.
Yeah, honestly, like, non-memorable plot there. So,
yeah.
Right after Neverland, we're back into Castle Oblivion, only for Vexen to show up and claim responsibility for Riku coming back into Sora's life.
Yeah, man. He winds up telling Sora that, you know, you owe me a debt. At which point, one of my favorite parts of this so far was Goofy looks at Sora's like, Sora, do you owe this guy something? And Sora's like, no, I don't owe him anything. And he's like, okay. And he's looking at Sora like looking at Sora like he's a gambling addict. And
yeah, I ended up watching that little scene so many times, redoing this fight.
It was funny every scene. Time. But Vexen tells him that, like, no, you owe me for reuniting you with Riku.
Yeah, that's what it was. I forgot about that. Yeah.
And so then, of course, Sora's just like, wait, you brought Riku here. Are you the reason that his memories are all messed up and why he's angry at me? And Vexen's kind of just like, he's been a little experiment of mine, trying some stuff out. At which point Sora then gets pissed and is just like, well, I'm going to clock you in the schnoz. Like, and then the fight starts. And then interestingly enough, everybody so far has had some sort of weapon. Knives, a scythe. Axel has his flaming spinny wheel thing. I don't exactly know the name of those.
I believe they're chakrams.
Chakrams. There you go. I call them his pointy flaming tambourines. But this guy has a shield. Vexen's is basically a giant sapphire shield that has a couple of points on the ends. But still, seems like it's more for defense than anything. But damn, was I wrong when I thought that.
I mean, it does still work for defense, because if you hit him from the wrong angle, as you would learn in Hollow Bastion, fighting the defenders, if you hit him from the wrong angle, you're not dealing damage.
Nope, you sure are not.
And it breaks your combo. It's so aggravating.
He also, I will say, this guy is so good at countering.
Yes, he is. Oh my gosh. I wish I had known those things that you were mentioning about recovery sooner, because, man, I was getting my ass handed to me over and over by him, because he would just break my combo and then I wouldn't be able to do anything about his quick enough before he just ate me alive.
That is the trick with him. It's restacking your deck with keyblades that have a good recovery, because, man, yeah, you have to be very tactical with this dude. 3 things I noticed you really have to be paying attention to. Very first one is that you have some kind of sleight or ability prepared to not only break his combo, but stun him if needed. That's why I tended to keep Strike Raid ready to go every time I reloaded my deck. You need to have at least 2 to 3 0 cards, because normally I found one of his patterns is he'll do 2 to 3 normal attacks before he does a sleight. And in his sleights, 9 times out of 10 are always 2 9s and an 8, 2 9s and a 7. Like, his sleights are not weak.
Yeah, no, I would always have these. I have like 5 zeros in my deck or something ridiculous like that. 2 or 3 sounds way too low.
Yeah, but he was so good at knowing, like, just his countering was really what made him tricky. I felt like anytime, like when I would go to heal, I stopped trying to do single heals unless I knew he was recharging his deck. And I would actually stack my heals with a strong attack. I basically would make a sleight out of heal cards. Otherwise, he kept breaking my heal cards.
Which is, you're supposed to do that anyway, because Cure versus Kira versus Kiraga.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, like, speed-wise, it just rarely ever did enough for me.
What I would often end up doing is actually, instead of doing the full Kiraga, I would grab a Keyblade card that I could sacrifice, throw that into the first spot of the Slight, and then throw 2 heals in right behind it. Because whatever the first card of your Slight is, that sucker's gone on your next reload, unless you use Elixir or something like that to get it back.
See, I made a mistake where I didn't realize that it kills the first card in your Slight, and that ripped me apart. Because all of a sudden, I was like, where did my healing spells go? And then I realized I was like, oh, he broke that one. Cool.
Well, it doesn't matter if you broke it or not. It's just you use the Slight. If anytime you use a Slight, that first card of the Slight is gone on future reloads.
Well, that's news. Okay, cool. Well, I'll have to remember that for next time. But we did wind up beating him. Very challenging. What was not an easy fight.
Yeah, 8 tries here.
Yeah, I think I probably got close to 12 or 13. Not gonna lie.
So, you beat him down, and there's some mention. I want to say he gives you one single card, where previously we've been getting stacks of them, stacks of world cards.
Mm-hmm.
He gives us one card that is supposedly created from memories on the other side of Sora's heart.
Somehow he claims that during the fight, he was able to analyze Sora's heart to the point where he pulled this location out of the other side, like out of a spot that even Sora could not reach.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think this means? Like, what does it mean, the other side of the heart?
I have no idea. No clue. No clue at all. I was just like, he's making this up. But I know he's not, but I also was just like, I'm in the same boat as Sora. No clue what this dude is talking about.
Well, longtime fans of the series would recognize the graphic on the card, but we'll leave that for the next episode.
I think we will. I don't want to spoil it, but you can tell that like Sora, Donald, Jiminy, and Goofy all look at the card and they're like, "Do you recognize this?" And none of them know where this place is. Like, there's no memory to them of what this world is. So,
as a closing thought, we have now been through, I want to say 10 worlds, because there was Traverse Town, a batch of 5, and then a batch of 4. So we've been through 10 worlds. How far in this game do you think we are?
Oh, man. We gotta be over half.
Okay, cool. Yeah. You're maybe. I'm so excited. I'm so excited because... Yeah, I'm so excited. Because I know how long and where this game goes, and I'm so excited for it to unfold for you.
I'm getting more excited about it. I think it's starting to finally open up a bit. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm guessing we're just about over the halfway point.
Possibly so. So what's going to change is after this one, I believe that each of the individual worlds is going to become a lot more relevant to us because we're not retreading old footsteps from Kingdom Hearts 1. So it should be interesting to see where this takes us next.
Okay, cool. But Kyle, there actually was one more cutscene after.
Oh, you're right.
They did not. We did not talk about just yet. Do you want to explain it? Because it's got your boy in it.
Yeah. So basically the short version of it is that we once again see Marluxia, Axel, and Larxene talking, and they mention that Sora is some key component in the organization's plans. And after that fight, they're just 100% certain now that Vexen is a traitor. And Marluxia sends Axel to take out Vexen.
He does. Marluxia is basically, I'm guessing the way he's a traitor is because he gave him that card. That's what I think is going on. What do you think? I'm assuming that's what they meant.
Or just the fact that he lost.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Because I imagine that they're not trying to let Sora get all the way to, I don't know, the top or something of the castle.
Oh, weird. Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
That's my guess.
But Maybe they just don't want him to complete it. But I know, yeah, because he basically is like, I want you to go take care of Vexen. And Axel, right before disappearing, goes, remember, you can't take that back later on. And then he disappears. And it's like, ooh, there's a little turmoil.
A little spice there, yeah.
And then that was it. You know, I think that was where we had decided we were going to stop for this one.
Yeah, I think it leaves it in a bold cliffhanger, not knowing what world it is that we're going to visit next, not knowing what the future is for Sora and what is happening within the organization. We just don't know. Yeah,
man. Big cliffhanger. Very, very, very big cliffhanger.
Sorry, everybody.
Yeah, and we know as much as you do, but we will be delving deep into hopefully brand new territory in the Kingdom Hearts series on the next episode. So that just means you gotta listen to the next one.
Absolutely. We are very excited for what's coming next. I don't want to say any more. So
okay, well,
all right, Mitchell. Well, this has been a lot of fun. Perhaps we'll meet here again next week.
I think we will. But until then, everybody, thank you for listening. Kyle, as always, thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Thank you for the time.
All right. Talk to y'all soon. Hey there, Kingdom Hearts fans. Thanks for listening to the episode. Dream Drop Long Distance is hosted by Mitchell Orsino and Kyle Bradshaw, and is produced by Kyle Bradshaw. Our theme music was written and recorded by Alex McLean.